Don't come up to me and go, did she really buy you? Because that'll ruin the whole fun. Let's just say yes. She did. So, you guys, and I also said yesterday in opening ceremonies that the cause that we are giving to is such a good cause. How many of you heard about the little girl who died, who was hit by a drunk driver? Is her name Nicole or is her name Lily? I thought it was. Okay, is her first name Lily or Nicole? Okay, Nicole is 13 years old. She's been to this convention many times, and her family actually wrote me the day before I came and said this had happened. I mean, it's just tragic, you guys. It's absolutely tragic. Oh God. She had just gotten off the bus, school bus, and a drunk driver came through the neighborhood and hit the bus. And she was off the bus. He hit the bus, and then he panicked because he hit the bus and tried to get away and ran over her.
Kept on going.
And kept on going. And I'll tell you what, there is not a hell hot enough as far as I'm concerned. Sorry, yeah, I don't even want to know. I don't want to know, because that's bullet time as far as I'm concerned. I'm sorry. You know, you guys may not like that, but I promise you, if Nicole were your little sister, you might feel different. So, she's one of us, you guys. She's an anime fan. She's been to these conventions. Her parents, her family sent me pictures of her and I. And wanted me to come to the funeral tomorrow, and I would. I called Continental Airlines and spent an hour on the phone with them trying to get my flight changed so I could stay here in town and go to her funeral, but I couldn't. And so what I have decided to do is the proceeds from my jacket are going to go to a fund that was set up in her name, and I said yesterday I will match whatever the final donation is for my jacket. So, I love you guys. That's okay. It's the least I can. So I actually may be voice acting for food very soon. No, just kidding. So you guys, we're gonna be auctioning that at cosplay this evening. Okay? Yes.
Okay, I don't know if this is written or not. Could you please do an impersonation of exactly what went through your mind the instant you found out you got the role of Tamaki from Odan?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. You guys, you probably know, I think you probably know, that I had been introduced to Oran High School like a year before it was even licensed. And we can't be in just any show we want to be in. Like, I wanted to be in Death Note, but that's impossible because it's recorded in Vancouver. You're not going to hear any English voice actors in Death Note, or in Inuyasha, for that matter. And like shows that are recorded in LA, you're not likely to hear Houston voice talent in them, or Dallas, because they don't live there. There are a few of us that have gotten to do stuff out there, like that's where I do Bleach and some other things. But for the most part, there isn't that cross-pollination of voice acting talent pools. There just isn't, because it's too difficult. It's impossible to record a show with somebody that recurs and they're not there. Plus, what if I bring you in from out of town and you spend $400 to fly here and you record all your part, and as soon as you get back home, we're checking your tracks and you mispronounce somebody's name? What do we do? You spend $500 to fly back out and go, Hikaru. Take me back to the airport. I mean, no, of course not. So, but somebody shared some Oran with me, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. I love this show, and I love Tamaki, and this is so neat. But there was no clue who was even going to dub it, who was going to get the license for it. If none of the companies that I worked with got the license, then I didn't have a prayer of a chance of even being in it. So then later on, Funimation got it, and there's the only person I knew who was even crazier about it than I was Caitlin Glass. She loved that show, and so she started campaigning like even before Barack Obama, okay? So you know that's a long time ago, right? She started campaigning for wanting to direct that show. And the good news is that everything fell into place. She got to direct the show, and she auditioned to play Haruhi. And oh my gosh, I know those of you that may not have heard it are like, Winry as Haruhi? No, I don't hear that. She don't sound like Winry, y'all. She sounds awesome. And I can promise you that I can assure you that she was not going to stop until she made her lines perfect. She worked really hard to make Haruhi the best it could be. So when I went into audition, it was so funny because, there's a whole list of all the hosts, right? And I walked in and she goes, okay, we know who you want to audition for, just go ahead. And so I went in there and did the best I could with Tamaki, and she's like, do you want to read for anybody else? I'm like, yeah, I mean, why not, right? So I read for one of the twins, and I read for Kyoya,
You read for Kyoya?
and I read for Mori, and I actually memorized Mori's lines. You want to hear them? Sorry, that's just me teasing Travis. Anyway, okay, so I left, and I'm like, oh crap, I can't believe it. And you guys, I want to tell you something. You need to think about this for a minute. On the surface, you might think to yourself, well, Caitlin's his friend. Caitlin and he are really close. Of course she's going to cast him. Well, no. Maybe the exact reverse logic would be the case. Caitlin does not want people pointing fingers at her and going, you only cast Vic because he's your friend. Caitlin's way too honorable and ethical for that. She would never want to cast somebody that would not do a good job just because she knew the kind of attention and the kind of spotlight that was being put on Oran. So I did my best with the audition, and then like a couple of weeks later, I was at Onicon in Hawaii. And Michelle and I were there, and I got this phone call from Caitlin, and she's like, well, congratulations. I was like, so I was so excited, so honored. And I did the same thing with Tamaki. I was like, oh no, let me do it again. I could do that better. And she was like, that was fine. No, let me do it again. I mean, the director was like, that was a fine performance. I'm like, no, just one more time, please. It has to be good. It has to be good. And so I love it. And wait till you guys see Volume 2. Oh my gosh. Volume 2 is awesome. Yes, sir.
Do you consider the Elric brothers as Democrats or Republicans?
The Elric brothers hate politics. The Elric brothers are not party affiliated.
Yes.
Because they hate politics like they hate the military. Question. In the cool hat.
Are you a Batman fan?
Batman? Oh yeah. Yeah.
Joker.
I know, yeah, you look awesome, my dear Joker. But yes, I am. Not so much the movies like where Michael Keaton and George Clooney, what a waste of time. But I love I mean, of course I grew up in the original series, so that was fun. And I mean, it was fun. It was, you know what, it was just cheesy, and it was so cheesy that it was fun, you know, and it was charming in its own way. And then of course the new movies are just awesome.
The Dark Knight.
Yes.
Getting to the point where you're going.
Come up here, baby. Come tell me, what's the question? Come here. Come up here. Here, baby.
What was your favorite academic subject?
Wow. that assumes that I had a favorite academic subject.
What?
My favorite academic subject, what's yours?
I don't know.
Exactly. You know what? My favorite academic subject was,
Lunch.
you know what? English. I really like English. In fact, you know what? I'll tell you a funny story. Come here. Wait!
Can I sit on your other lap?
Wait a minute. Come on. Hello, baby.